To celebrate Pi Day this year, I'm digging into the freezer where there have been 2 crusts taking up room since Thanksgiving, and I'm turning them into dinner. Yeah, I'm not eating pie for dessert. So while those crusts soften in the fridge, I gotta slice 2 onions as finely as I can. Dump them in a Dutch oven and add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and a big pinch of salt. Give this a little stir and let it rest for 10 minutes. Then I move it to the burner over medium heat. I'm gonna cook these down for about 30 to 40 minutes until they're golden brown, and I deglaze the pan with a dash of rice vinegar as needed. Also, at some point, I put a pinch of thyme into this pan with these onions. Once they look like this, I scoop them into a bowl and set them aside. Now I'm gonna grate some sharp cheddar cheese. I'm gonna set it aside. Throw a little flour down on my cutting board. And since this dough has been buried in the freezer for 4 months, I smush it around a little bit, make it a little bit more workable. And listen, if you don't have graveyard crust in your ice chest, you can always use store-bought, or you could not be a and just make some crust for yourself. I'm gonna roll out this dough and grab a 4-inch round cutter to try to get 10 rounds out of it. This will take a few rounds of re-rolling, but look, I did it. Move the rounds to a cookie sheet, then prep a little egg wash by scrambling 1 egg with a splash of water. I paint the edge of each circle with some of the egg wash, then put about half a tablespoon of onion in the middle, and then top that with a fairly equal amount of the shredded cheddar. Now I'm gonna fold each round in half, trying my darndest to keep all the filling inside. This is tedious, I don't like doing it, but it's Pi Day. It only happens 3 times a year, so I might as well go all out. I give the edge a little pinch, and then I use this fork to go back over all of them, because the last thing I want is to have spent all this time on these things only to have their guts spill out and singe to my sill pad. This pan goes back into the fridge for about 30 minutes so the dough can re-chill, and in the meantime I'm gonna preheat my oven to 400 degrees. After half an hour, pull them out of the fridge and stab each one a few times with a paring knife, then brush the tops with more of the egg wash. Now they go in the oven for about 22 minutes until they're golden, and while they bake, I'm gonna make a little dip. So start with a big spoonful of Dijon, then slightly less than that of honey, then mayo, an amount that's equal to the honey, squeeze of lemon juice, a dash of cayenne, a dash of garlic, stir it all up. Okay, the pies look done, and it looks like pretty much every single one of them leaked, but they're not too bad. Okay, let me slice this first one so we can get a good looking cross section. And that cheese that poured out and then baked onto the sheet, yeah, that just turns out to be a bonus cheese chip, and I'm never gonna complain about a cheese chip. The crust looks nice and flaky. They're sweet from the onions, buttery, salty. The honey mustard is tangy and perfect for them. And since I didn't make this crust, and I don't know how much butter is in there exactly, I have no problem eating all 10.